Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dana and I made these custard cookies a few days ago. They are delicious, so I thought I should share the recipe with you because they are so amazing. They look great and they taste also good, and who doesn't love custard? I will start with custard, and for which I'm gonna need 100 grams of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 4 eggs, 100 milliliters of cream, unsweetened one, 400 milliliters of milk, and vanilla extract. Put milk in a pot on the stove to heat up really good, and in the meantime crack the eggs in a bowl. I will use yolk and egg whites from them. I will mix them up with a whisk. It's not needed to use a mixer to mix them up. So use the whisk, add sugar, and mix the eggs with sugar until sugar almost dissolve and eggs will change color. They will be more like a pale yellow. Add cornstarch, and if you really don't want to have any lumps in the cream, you can mix cornstarch with sugar, but the cream came out good the way I did it also. Add cream now at room temperature, and by the time you mix eggs really good, the milk warm up on the stove, so pour milk over the egg mixture slowly and mix. Eggs will get used to the hot milk and we're not gonna end up with scrambled eggs. Pour them back in the pot, and on the stove on a low fire mix continue until this custard will start to thicken up. It will take about 10 minutes, but don't leave this unsupervised. Just mix in it, because otherwise might get burnt smell and taste, and it's not gonna be good anymore. You can use to give flavor to this custard vanilla extract, vanilla paste, or even a vanilla pod. As you can see, the whisk starts to let trace into the custard, so it's time to take it off the stove and leave it to cool down completely. And in order not to make that crust on top, I will cover it with cling film and make sure cling film to touch the custard underneath, and leave it to cool down completely. I put this pot in another bowl with cold water, and I changed that cold water a few times in order to cool it down faster. I'll make a syrup now with 150 grams of sugar, and I'm gonna mix this sugar with 150 milliliters of water, cold water. So I'm gonna boil it on the stove for about 10 minutes and leave it to cool down completely. I will make now a sponge cake with 6 eggs, 10 grams of baking powder, 8 grams of vanilla sugar, 60 grams of flour, 80 grams of sugar, and a pinch of salt. I separated the eggs. Over egg whites I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, and I'm gonna use a mixer this time, and I'm gonna whisk really good these egg whites until it will be nice and foamy, light, almost like a meringue. I will add vanilla sugar over and caster sugar and continue to mix. And now this actually looks like a meringue, so must be a meringue. Add eggs, egg yolk, one at a time, and continue to mix. And after we incorporate egg yolks, it's time to mix dry ingredients, but I'm not gonna use a mixer anymore. I'm gonna use that whisk. So I add flour and baking powder, and using the whisk I'm gonna incorporate these dry ingredients with light movements. I don't want to take out the air that I incorporated in those eggs. So light movements, folding movements from down to up until that flour is really good mixed in the batter. In the meantime, I preheated the oven at 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. This oven tray, I prepared it with some baking powder that I greased with butter, melted butter. Of the tray is 33 centimeters by 40 centimeters, and I'm pouring the batter in the tray over the baking paper, and I'm gonna level the batter with a spatula. I'm gonna bake these for about 10 minutes, this sponge cake. Don't over bake it. We want it to be light, fluffy, and really flexible. So don't over bake it. As soon as you see that it's set and has a nice color, you take it off and leave it to cool down for a few minutes. I took it out of the tray and I removed the baking paper. Gentle, work with it super gentle, and use use a metal spatula or a knife to peel the paper easier. And syrup is cold as well. As you can see now, I'm using this metal spatula to remove the sponge cake from the baking paper. Put syrup all over the sponge cake. I use the brush, and this will make the cake even better now with the syrup. They will be super easy to roll, because this is gonna happen after we put syrup on the sponge cake and also some of that custard cream. Okay, now custard is cold. Take a few spoons of it and place them on the sponge cake. We don't need to use a lot of it, because otherwise the cakes will look kind of messy, and that's not the purpose. I want them to look nice and neat. So spread that custard all over the sponge cake in an even and thin layer. Take your time. Don't rush, because this way you're gonna do a great job. Cut now the sponge cake with a knife horizontally in half, and and vertically cut slices or strips of that sponge cake wide for about 4 or 5 centimeters wide, as you can see me doing here. Cutting straight line is not one of my best qualities, but I am trying my best. Neither is English, but yeah, I hope you still understand what am I doing here. And roll the cakes from the inside to the outside. And place them on a plate and let them for a few minutes to set in this position. This way you make sure that they will not open up. So take your time and roll all those cakes from the middle to the outside and let them rest on the plate. As you see, I ended up with lots of cakes, but also I'm gonna make lots of people happy with them. Do the same with all the other. Now we still have some custard left, and I'm gonna place it in a piping bag with a nice stellar tip. I'm gonna lift the cakes now in vertical position, and as you can see, they don't open up. They will stay like this. And also you can place them, each of them, in some cupcake papers. This way you can gift them to people in your life, and you can transport them easily. Okay, with that custard that we have in the piping bag, I am decorating the cakes on top. And it's not all we do now, because we want this to look the best. So after I put all that custard on top of each of these cakes, I will sprinkle some brown sugar, and you need a burner or a torch. Yeah, torch is the right word, to burn that sugar. It will smell amazing, like caramel and vanilla. So yeah, as you can see, they look amazing. You need to keep them in the fridge for a few hours before serving them. They're not that complicated to prepare after all. I put them in cupcakes papers, and yeah, we enjoy serving them. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I hope I will see you here next time with another recipe. Until then, find reasons to smile. Bye bye.